Hello, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Jamie and Marcus here.
Test of time.
Love, passion, and hustle in the restaurant business. Sorry, I forgot there for a moment.
Yeah, you forget we hustle.
No, I just forgot our tagline.
Oh,
I definitely didn't forget we hustle. That's
all
for
we've
sure.
been doing right now is hustling lately.
Yeah.
Episode number 20.
Excellent.
And
what are we going to talk about today?
We've had a whirlwind of a weekend, of a week.
We've had a crazy week.
Of a spring.
And it was funny because you asked me something. You said what we should do this podcast on. And I had this conversation with somebody yesterday. I didn't tell you that. But I had this conversation with somebody yesterday about balance. Right.
Yeah.
And so we want to talk a little bit about balance and the whirlwind of a week that we've had and what we've been up to and important things that we do at our restaurant to help our community, to do just lots of things, right?
So. Yeah. So one of the lessons that we've learned over the time of doing this for 20 years is, and it was hard in the beginning to really live by this. And we've missed a lot of things that have been crucial in our family.
I think it's something we learned.
Something
that we've learned over the past 20 years because, we like to give information and educate people and learn from our mistakes, really, right? Learn from the things that we've done right or wrong.
Yep.
And we learn from them, we talked about that in our last episode as well, right?
Yeah.
Just learning from them over the past 20 years and where we're at. And if we can help somebody not make some of the mistakes that we've made, that's what it's about for us, helping.
Yeah. So today's theme is don't miss stuff.
Don't miss stuff.
Don't miss your family's events. Don't miss your kids' events. Don't miss.
And we were literally talking to our daughter just before about going on a family vacation with them, with her and our grandson and our son-in-law. So, we were just talking about that. And it's the opportunities that we don't want to miss with the important things in our life that we just don't want to miss anymore.
So we've been traveling a lot. The last 2 years have been a whirlwind of travel.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to the pandemic, you would travel with our son to baseball games.
Yeah, I was traveling every summer for 3 summers, pretty much.
Yep. And I traveled somewhat, but I didn't go to every game.
No.
I wasn't at every game. I was busy with the restaurant, busy doing things. And now after the pandemic, the last 2 years of him playing college ball, Division I, you and I have not missed.
We've missed very few
games.
And if we miss the game, we either watch it on ESPN Plus if we can, or I'm watching the statistics, or I'm watching as much as I possibly can. Obviously, our son goes away for the summer, so we can't be there for every game. But I have every game on and I'm listening to every game that they play, whether he's pitching or not, because he's a pitcher. And that's really important to us. And so go ahead, you can talk a little bit about some of the changes that we've made and why.
Yeah. So the biggest change was our mindset of you don't miss your kids' stuff.
Yeah.
You just don't. And at one point I looked at you, it was probably 8 years ago. And I said, I want to have more kids. And you were like, no way. But my thought process was because I could do it better the second time, because there were things that I missed when our kids were really young that I regretted.
Yeah.
And there were things that we couldn't go to or provide for them that I really regretted. I was like, well, I want to have more kids because I want to, I think I can do it right this time. Not do it right, but do it a little better, have more time and have more money, look back and reflect upon what, and believe me, we did the best we could with our kids, and they're amazing kids, and they weren't neglected, deprived, or anything.
No.
But we always think we can do something more for our family.
But that comes with experience, right? And so, everyone always says, and you hear this all the time, you always tell your kids they're not ready to have kids, right?
Yeah.
You're not ready. But honestly, you're never ready. You're never ready for the change that's about to occur, the change that's there, whether you're having kids, whether you're having whatever it is, you're never quite ready for it.
Yeah.
You could have all the money in the world and you're not ready for the experience of what comes next. We think our kids are too young to have children, or you're never ready. You're never ready. So if you wait so long, we have a friend who's 2 years younger than me who just had her first baby.
Not in the restaurant industry.
Not in the restaurant industry, but she just had her first baby, and she's 46 years old, 45 years old. And when is the right time? The right time is when you decide it's the right time for you. I can't imagine having a newborn right now, my own
but
newborn.
Essentially we do have a newborn.
But we do, because we have our grandson.
We have a grandson.
So realistically, time just goes, and you have to make the changes and things that work for you at the time.
Which is why you have to get your restaurant
to
run by itself.
Yes.
Super essential. So that's really like what we love to teach people, is how do you get basically, when people say, what do you do besides owning a restaurant and travel business and the Airbnb luxury game, I said, I like to help people make them love their restaurant again. Because at one point when you opened your restaurant, you loved it.
Yeah, of course.
And then all of a sudden it just got tiring, because in a lot of cases,
same thing all the time, and you're stressed about money, you're stressed about paying bills, you're stressed about your family, you're stressed about how your wife or your husband feel about you not being home very often because you're working so much, because you're growing your business. I mean, all of those things, right? Those are things
we have it fortunate because we work the business together. There's people out there that where the husband owns a restaurant or the wife owns a restaurant, and the other spouse is going to teach or do another career on the side. And so they're both not lined up with the same schedule. One is off on weekends, one is working every weekend.
And sometimes husbands and wives shouldn't work together. And sometimes it works really well that they're working together.
Yeah.
So, that's all a determination, that you have to decide, right? In terms of your balance and what works for you. But go back to that passion of why you opened your restaurant, why you started your business. Go back to that.
So I love people. I'd like to say I want people to love their restaurant again. So, super important. Obviously, we talked about the mindset about, yes, I'm not going to miss anything, but it's really executing your team, empowering your team. And there's so many things,
giving them the tools to be successful.
There's so many things that somebody can do. So if we had to tell somebody 3 things of what they could do to love their restaurant again, to make the restaurant run more,
well, I know what number 1 would be. Trust your staff.
Trust your staff.
Trust your staff. You have to let go of the non-trusting part.
Yeah.
One thing, part of the trust, I think, is financial trust. So you could take only credit cards, right? And the only way that your staff is going to get tipped out is by their credit card, so they're going to charge them, right? So,
but let's talk about just trust the staff in general.
Well, so I was
just trusting whatever they do.
That's what I was going to kind of go into. Is but I think
we're exhausted.
Excuse me, it's been a very long week.
We had an amazing weekend where we were race directors of a race, and we're on our hometown, and we haven't done the race since 2019 because of the pandemic, and we brought it back this weekend, and it's a lot of work, and we had a committee help us this year, and we had 250 people show up to a run yesterday. The after party's at our restaurant, and all this money gets donated back to the community at $10,000-$12,000. So we don't even know what we raised yet. We have to take a look and see what's left over extra. But I'm probably assuming at least 10,000 is left over extra for our community. But but back to trusting your staff.
So you have to trust that they're going to do the right thing when it comes to taking care of your guests. They're going to do the right thing with the money and the financial. They're going to take care of each other as a team and work together.
So I hear a lot of other restaurant owners say, I can't trust my staff. I can't trust my staff.
But what if they're not trusting?
They're going to steal from me. They're going to screw up. They're going to do this. What if they screw up?
What's the end of the world? As long as your restaurant's still there when you get back from doing something, right? Like it's still standing. There wasn't a fire. You know, it's
I
still
look at
there.
I look at it as a learning experience
Mhm.
if you take the opportunity to teach them from what they did wrong.
Right.
And if you think about it, like we spend so much money training staff, hiring staff, going through all that for them just to leave.
hmm
If you have somebody who's been there forever, been there a year or whatever, 6 months, 2 years, and they're making mistakes,
You need to teach them.
teach them.
So
Teach them
whenever we come
because
back,
it's
right?
the cost of doing business.
Yeah. Whenever we come back from being away.
So true story.
Yeah. What?
Every
Yeah.
time we go away, I come back after 3 days, 4 days of being away, and I walk into the restaurant
And we get frustrated.
And
on
sometimes
something.
it's like in the morning when we get back from a flight at 2 a.m. or 6 in the morning or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And I look around and I get frustrated. I get so upset because
I hope that
something's-
box hasn't been sitting there.
the
whole
box has
week.
been sitting there the whole
Yeah.
weekend. I hope they put this away. I hope they notice this. And I'm thinking to myself, this last time this happened, I'm like, I'm not getting
You
mad
can't get mad.
because I'm not getting mad because I get to go away.
Yep.
I get to have a beautiful restaurant and I get to go away. That's the only thing. It was just me having that little bit of control, like just getting upset. And now it's like, you know what? It's not worth it.
It's not worth it. Yeah.
Because they're not going to do what I want. What you want. They're not going to.
Because they're their own person.
And I feel like I've told them 100 times.
It's the same in our relationship.
Don't leave orders out. Don't leave boxes there. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. This, and this. And you come back and it's like, okay,
they did all of
two of those lists of 100 things you said not to do.
They did all of them.
They did 2 of them, right? They did 2 of the 100. I'm like, okay, so no problem. So number 1 is trust yourself. What's number 2?
Ooh, number 2. You think of one. Do you have one? Training your staff and coming up with a system, right? Training systems.
Train, and train again. And after that, repeat the whole process.
Yeah.
You train every day.
Yes.
And if you don't train your staff, I hear people say, so for restaurants say, well, my staff is untrainable.
No, everybody's
you can't
trainable.
train trainable. What do you say to that?
Everybody's trainable.
Everybody's trainable.
I mean, you never see
they've been trained not to do stuff.
So here's a good analogy, and we've heard this many times. Like, kids get up to walk and they fall, and they get up and try it again and they fall until they figure out how to walk without falling. Right. So you've got to train them. So when you're there at your business, you are training. You are doing things that they can follow so they can see how you're doing them. And if you're not doing them correctly because you're taking shortcuts, they're going to take shortcuts.
So here's what I say to those people that say my staff is trainable. If your staff isn't trainable, which means you've already tried to train them, then it's your fault you hired them. And it's your fault.
And you need
keep
to,
them.
and
your fault you keep them. If somebody's not working out, if you're telling me they're not trainable, to me that means, well, I've been training, but they're not learnable, they're not teachable.
Or you have to change the way that you train.
It's always train the way you train.
Right.
If their staff's not stupid.
No.
They're getting away with what you've been let them get away with.
Right.
Whether it's in your place, whether it's in life. And if you just reinforce that, hey, I'm not going to hold you accountable to learn things, to follow through on things, to do your job right, then they're just going to keep if you're going to reinforce it, why should they stop now? Because the next restaurant's going to be the same, or the one restaurant before them was the same.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so it's your fault that you're not training. So train. All right. So the 3 things.
Trust, train.
And
what's the third thing? What do you think the third thing is?
What is the third thing? Systems.
Well, that's what I said before. I think training is systems kind of goes together.
Training can be a system.
I think training and systems go together. I think you have room for one more.
So you don't want to lump the 2 together.
No, I
do.
You
want to lump the 2 together.
I want to
because I think like a system is, for example, you follow a recipe to a T.
But that's training.
And
if you train them to follow the system.
Okay, training is systems. All right, so what's the third one?
The third one. What was the question again? What was the exact question?
The exact question is, should be able to go away and leave your restaurant and know it's in good hands. What are the 3 things you'd advise other restaurants to do?
I don't know. I mean, the third thing I would say, when you're away, enjoy and relax and come back revived. What would you say?
I would say reward your staff.
Yeah, reward.
Reward.
That's part of training too, though.
Part of training, reward.
But reward. I would say reward once you go away, reward.
Yeah.
Reward before you go, or reward.
And it can
once
be
you get back?
verbal. It can be a verbal award.
Yeah.
Really, thank you. It can be a monetary. But here's the thing. We're the owners and we shouldn't have to feel bad about going away. And we had a waiter last year that we went to Justin, our son's games, and we were away and the front door didn't get locked. And we said to him, you're a key employee. Key employee means you have a key. You take a key home with you. Key employees have more responsibility than non-key employees. And your job as a key employee is to make sure the front door is locked. It's an important task. And he blamed somebody else, the new guy.
And I said, but you're the one who's here.
Yeah.
Like you were the one, you're
like,
in charge. Like you have the key.
You took somebody.
Not in charge, but you are the one to show them the rights and wrongs.
You took somebody who was here for a week and you allowed them to lock the front door unchecked and unnoticed and took their word for it. Like even after the best employee we have locks the front door, I double check it when I leave. If I'm the last one, I just double check it. It's the thing I do. I walk to the kitchen, I make sure everything's off. So I said, you expected them to do that. I don't think they've ever been trained on that. And he goes, well, nobody told you to go away.
Nobody told me he wasn't trained.
Nobody told you to go away. I was like, nobody has to tell me to go away.
It's my business. Right. It's my business.
I all our money's here. I pay your paycheck. I do a lot for you. And you're not going to dictate when I can go away. And of course, that was his last. That was his downfall.
That was his last shift, actually.
Yeah.
We took the key away the next day.
He
didn't come back.
Yep. So you shouldn't feel guilty, owners, about going away. I think some owners feel guilty. Oh, I'm going to leave. Between that and not trusting and being a control freak, you're not going to love your restaurant. It's impossible to love your restaurant.
Yeah, control. Giving up the control.
I love what the restaurant does for us when we're in the restaurant, the people we meet,
and we love what it does for us when we're not in the restaurant. Right?
People say to me, "Oh, your restaurant must be closed while you're away." No, they're open and making money, so I can be here right now and enjoy. Part of my why is to do what I want when I want and create financial freedom, and my personal why. And I think we've done a really good job traveling and getting things to see things what we've wanted. We went to Mexico for the moment 2 weeks ago.
So the restaurant is the physical part, but everything after the physical part, you can do from anywhere.
Yeah.
You can answer your phone calls. You can place orders. You can
send training videos out.
Right. You can even do your invoicing now. Yeah. Everything can be done, not on location. The physical part of feeding people, you have to do there.
Yeah.
But for the most part, everything can be done on location.
So we built a beautiful restaurant, and I don't feel guilty about traveling. And I'm not going to I'm not going to put up with my staff making me feel guilty. Right. I had one guy. We had a guy a long time. I don't know, 7, 8 years ago, 6 years ago. Like every time I'd buy something new for the kitchen, he'd get upset. Like, why am I buying something new for the kitchen? Like, why are you spending money on this, that? And I bought a new blender and he couldn't handle it. Remember that?
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah. And it was like, I don't know.
I'm allowed to get upset at you, but an employee can't get upset.
Yeah. I don't know why you're spending money on this and this and that. And money. So we have 2 better tools in the kitchen and this, and this. And he was like all bent out of shape and he ended up quitting and he had worked for us, I think, for about 6 months. And he was just always in a bad mood and miserable, this guy. So a lot of these young chefs that you're going to have as restaurant owners, a lot of them think that they can do your job better. We've had people in the past that have totally tried to sabotage our business, especially with new employees. And we'll talk about that another time, but it's disgusting what.
So you're getting off on a little bit of some tangents, but balance is really important, and I think that's hard for some people to give up the control and to balance their life, including their spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, partner, children, now grandchildren for us. I mean, that's a hard balance. And you know what? if my daughter needs me and I'm sitting in the office and I'm working and she wants me to take my grandson for a few minutes, I have no problem with that. And that is important to me, and I'm going to do it. And if I have to tell somebody, I'm sorry, you have to hold on, I have to change my phone call, or I have to do this or that, I'm going to do it, because that's why we're here. You know, we had an employee, a very good employee who passed away a few weeks ago. And, you know, the old saying of life is too short, but you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. And you've got to enjoy every minute of every day doing the things that you love, and enjoy them. And his girlfriend posts that all the time now. And she's like, she was on a boat this weekend, you know, like fishing. And she's like, I just have to do it because that's important to me, because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
You may not get a second chance.
Right.
So
yeah.
All right.
So balance your life, and
love and honor your family, love your restaurant, and you owe it to yourself.
You sure do.
So, all right,
and
folks,
don't feel guilty.
Go to restaurantgrowthsecretsuniversity.com for more great tips on how to run a restaurant, how to love your restaurant again. Lots and lots of cool training over there. And that's it. Episode 20 in the books.
All right.
See you later.
Thanks, everybody.